And then the other one's 2 to
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to go back and re-review our Virgin Tinted Lighten since we were just kind of through that real fast yesterday. And then we're going to talk about retouches and double processes. Show of hands or in chat, has anyone ever done a double process? No?
I have.
You have. Okay. How did that work for you?
Great.
Okay, good. Good. Because, you know, usually they work great, but
Yeah, I done my own hair and I done my mom's hair. So
okay.
yeah, came out really well.
Good. Good, good, good.
You
Okay.
go, boy.
And then we have retouches, which is a retouch is probably one of the #1 color services that you can do in a shop or a salon, just because people, you know, they want to cover up their gray hair. They like a different color and they need to just keep it up. It's like a maintenance type thing, you know. So a retouch and a haircut, yeah, you know, if you have someone that is a regular client, they're going to be getting their hair touched up approximately every 4 to 5 weeks, sometimes even 3 to 5 weeks. So you know that, you know, if you get that loyal customer, you can count on them coming in all the time for that. Okay, so retouches, we should go over that first, right? Retouches. Okay, so let me get the whiteboard up here and we will
From 6:22 to 7:14. I need that one too.
go over a retouch application. Now remember, it's really hard to write with this little bitty pen here on a screen that's like at a 45-degree angle. So retouches.
6 through that one. The 7 were closed.
So the #1 thing that you have to remember about a retouch is that it is new growth only. Okay, the difference between a darkening retouch and a lightening retouch is that line of demarcation, right? So you have the whole hair colored. It's, you know, nice one color. If it's darker, we'll talk about darker first. For a darker retouch, the ends of the hair will have faded out. So it's all about touching up the scalp or touching up the roots and then blending that color to where, you know, it's just as fresh on the ends as it is at the scalp. With a lightener, of course, the lightener is going to fade too. So it's all about getting that scalp the same color as the ends, because you can't really refreshen a lightener or refreshen a lightening color retouch. But what we want to make sure that we're doing with that is blending it all through so that we see no line of demarcation. We don't want to see any lines there. So if we're going to start with the retouch to darken, you know, you're going to greet your client. You're going to bring them back to your station. You're already going to have all of your supplies gathered, right? We have to gather our supplies. We're going to sit the client down. So what do you think one of the first things that you should ask this client, because you know you're there for a retouch. So one of the first things that you want to ask your client is what?
Anyone?
They have any existing hair color?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And now you might be able to see it, and it might have just, you might not, like it might have kind of just blended in with their own natural color, depending on what color they decided to color their hair
So
in the
are we
beginning.
assuming that we've already colored their hair once and they're coming back?
Yes.
Okay. So we're assuming that we've colored their hair once and they're coming back. So one of the first things that you would want to ask them was, how did they like their previous hair color? Correct?
Mhm. Right.
So in our client consultation,
like if I was the client, because I hear this a lot, I really like the color when it's first done, but it fades out too fast, or, it fades out a lot. So one of the reasons for fading hair color could be what?
not the correct shampoo.
Yes. That's probably one of the main ones. So then it's your job to educate your client on which type of shampoo that they should be using. If your hair is color treated, which type of shampoo should you be using? Anyone?
Color treated hair shampoo.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to make sure that it is a sulfate-free shampoo. Now, if you get one that says it's for color treated hair, then yeah, it should be sulfate-free. But we want to make sure that that's the ingredient we do not want. Now, it can have a surfactant, but it cannot have a sulfate. That will
Does
strip your
anybody-
color out.
I was just gonna say, does anybody know what sulfates do? And Connie
Yeah.
just told you.
Oh, I just told you. Sulfates will strip that color out fast. So that's one of the things we want to look for. No sulfates. We need the surfactant because the surfactant is the cleaning agent. So we do need that, but we don't need a sulfate. Okay. So clients in the chair, right? First thing we're going to do,
Client consultation.
consultation.
And then maybe like subdivide underneath this, but how they like the last color.
Okay.
And at that time, they're going to tell you, like maybe at that time they'll tell you, well, like Connie said, my color faded out really quickly. So this is a time for you to ask them what type of shampoo are they using. Maybe that this gives you time to where you're going to have to maybe reformulate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Add maybe a little bit more of a fashion color to the mixture, or maybe put in oh, my brain is not working.
A prosody filler.
Yeah, prosody filler.
The
The prosody filler to equal out that prosody so that hair color fits a little bit better. So the consultation is super important.
So another thing would be the client's lifestyle, right? Right now, especially if someone's swimming, if someone's outside a lot, their hair color is going to fade faster than it will in the wintertime. And in the summertime, they say that your hair grows faster, so it could be growing out really fast. So those are some of the
On
other
the note of
things.
swimmers, you have to be very careful with swimmers because if they don't clarify their hair regularly, you can get a buildup onto the hair. And then there could be a reaction to that with that product also. So like with swimmers too, you have to be really careful with lightener, because even like my own daughter's hair, because they swim all the time, their hair lightens very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So, I could really just have to use 10 volume to lighten them, and they get really light quickly because of all the chlorine in their hair.
Right,
So,
because chlorine's a chemical and
Yeah.
color is a chemical.
yeah, so be careful with it.
we
If
need
they
a good
have-
chemical reaction.
Yeah, if they have a lot of buildup in it, it can be a challenge to color their hair, even to get a good base color on their hair. And also you'll notice too, I know that we're talking about color, but when you go to cut someone's hair and they have a lot of chlorine in the hair, it tends to bend the hair. Like your shears can be like brand new, super sharp, right? And the hair doesn't want to cut, it wants to like bend. And that's due to that chemical coating from the chlorine in their hair.
I've noticed a lot of times too, you can smell it. You can
Yeah.
smell the chlorine in their hair. Even after you just shampooed it, you can still smell it.
Yes.
So it's kind of
So
a strong
in that
place.
situation, if I know that somebody is like a swimmer or is in the pool a lot at summertime, I would automatically, before I did a hair color, I would clarify them just to be safe.
I would do a
kind of
test
like
strand if it's that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to melt off the hair, but I would
Um,
say at least clarify them.
Right. Especially even if they've had previous color, say they came in and got their color like in the beginning of spring, and now summertime hit, because it gets hot overnight, and then they started swimming and now that, you know, their hair color is faded, even the virgin hair could have a chlorine buildup on it. So we want to make sure that we double check it. Not only chlorine pools, but even if people go to the beach or go to the lake, you know, that water still has, like, you know, more minerals in it than not. So, you know, we just have to double check when we're doing that. So if their color's fading a lot, you know, we have to ask that. We also have to ask them how their last color service was. You know, they might say it's too light or too dark or too something, too
It didn't-
red.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't exactly the color I wanted. You know, that's why if you have a previous client record card and you've kept a good record, you can look back on that and just, you
And
know,
adjust your formula.
adjust your formula.
So is that what happens when you go in the pool? I
Yeah.
heard your hair turn your hair green.
Oh yeah, especially lighter colored hair. They can pools, spas. For some reason, it seems like spas turn the hair quicker. I don't know if it's because of the heat will open up that cuticle and that chlorine gets inside of it. But I've noticed, like, you know, my daughters being in the pool didn't ever really turn green. But one time they went to a spa and it was hot, and they walked out and they looked like, you know, turquoise green. I was just like, oh my God, what happened to your hair? So those things, they do happen.
They do. Yeah, I mean, think about, like, in your bathroom, sometimes the minerals, you know, you get sort of like a greenish look around, you know, your faucet, or it almost looks like rust when it's just like, you know, a different mineral that's filled up in there.
Mm-hmm.
So the chlorine has those, you know, chemical mineral type things in it too. So it's doing the same thing to your hair.
One time I did, and it depends on too, like where you live. If somebody lives in the city, or if they live like maybe like, you know, out in, you know, like agricultural land. So if they're on city water versus well water. One time I had a client and I did a perm on her, and when I applied the perm solution, it freaked me out at first because
purple.
Yeah, it started
Turn
like
purple.
dripping purple, like all
Yeah.
over, and I had never seen that before, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like I had to like double check that I was putting the right product on her hair and stuff like that, because literally the perm solution was turning purple and it was dripping purple. And then I ended up asking someone, I was like, have you ever seen this before? They go, yeah, they're probably on well water. It's the minerals that's in the well water that has a reaction to it. Her hair didn't stay purple. As soon as I washed it out, everything was like fine. But it did give me like a mini panic attack there, that I was like, you know, putting on a clear chemical, I was dripping purple. Where'd this come from?
I've also seen it drip like almost a rust looking color too. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the water,
Yeah.
you know, what's in your water. And sometimes even in a city, different wells can have different minerals in the water too. So you might find a little bit of different reactions. That's why it's always best to try to know, you know, what your water has in it and how it reacts with the different chemicals. And then if you don't know, then do a test strand. I mean, that's the only way to
Another
find out.
thing you have to worry about too is also medications that your clients may take. Certain medications, remember, anything we put into our body is going to come out through our hair, nails, and our skin. So medications, you know, things like blood pressure, heart medication, even, you know, illegal drugs that you shouldn't be using, that's all going to come out, and that all can affect your chemical service that you have.
Yes.
I remember the girl with the
Yes.
Illumin. Okay, so me and Connie had a client we did together, and we used a product called Illumin. And Illumin it works off the positive and the negative charge within the hair. So it's like a direct dye almost. Because you goes directly out of a bottle onto the hair, and then you let it process, and then you put this other product over called Lock, which locks in the hair color. Great product, beautiful colors. So we're doing this girl's hair, and literally we were putting the color on her hair, and it looked like somebody had put like Rain-X. Have you guys ever seen that? Like when you go to the car wash and the water just like slides right off the car from the Rain-X. The product, the hair color was just like literally like sliding off the hair strand, and we would take it and, you know, put it onto the hair strand, and it would start like sliding down, and we're like putting it back up, and we're putting it back up. And we couldn't figure out why this hair color was not working. So we ended up calling our rep, and our rep, it's like, oh my gosh, we've never heard anything about this. Asked for like batch numbers on the bottle and stuff like that. Couldn't figure out what was happening either. And then we ended up calling the main headquarters, and the main headquarters had to start like asking her a bunch of questions. And one question came about was if she had been using any type of illegal drugs, and it came out that she was using illegal drugs, and it was causing a reaction with her hair color that we were putting on her head. So it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen.
I remember that freaked me out.
I've had a couple experiences like that, and it's always kind of weird when it first
It puts you in an
happens
awkward situation.
to have to ask those
Yeah.
questions too. So, that's why consultation is so important. Any other questions that you can think of that we should be asking? I mean, we can't just come out and say, hey, do you do drugs? But we can ask them, if they're taking any type of medications, whether it's illegal, or illegal, that could affect their hair color. So, we can ask those questions. So,
Medications.
3 would be medications. I mean, like, remember when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, have you changed any medications since your last visit, as well as had your address changed or any of that? So you can ask those same questions to your clients also. So can you guys think of any other questions that you should ask prior to retouching a client's head, just to kind of get an update on what you've done from the time before? Anything else?
No, that's it. Shampoos, how do they like their last hair color, and their medications.
The test to see if they're allergic to the color.
The PD test should already have been done, yes, prior
Yes.
to giving the.
Also, like, just to examine the hair to see if there's any, like, make sure there's no lice
Right.
or
So
anything.
number 4, we're going to examine.
Well, that's going to be part of our procedure.
Okay.
So these are just like prior to actually doing the procedure or getting ready to do the procedure, just questions that we should be asking our clients. Now, checking it and all that, yeah, absolutely. We have to do that with every client every single time, but that'll come more within, like, after you drape your client, you want to check. It's real clear, it's real clear in the wording in the, like, laws and regulations and things like that, that when we drape, anytime we're going to check the client's hair or do anything to the client's hair, they need to be draped. So that part does come in, but it comes in when we drape them.
Okay, so now we finished our client consultation, and then we can move to our actual procedure.
Right. And if we need to reformulate or whatever, then we can do that. So you want to write? I'll let Miss Jen write. She might write better
I
than
don't
me.
know. Let's see.
So I do a retouch procedure. Let's see if it,
It's kind of awkward.
very awkward.
Okay, let me see if I can get my hands.
A retouch procedure. Oh, she writes better than me. Okay.
Kind of. Can you guys read my writing? It's hard. Okay, I have to do like I'm doing on the board. Okay, so retouch procedure. Okay, so number 1, what are we gonna do?
It's not spirit fingers. Oh, they probably don't even know
Check
what it is.
So we're gonna sanitize our hands. We're gonna wash our hands.
Right? Soap, water, hand sanitizer, either or works.
Okay.
Okay. The second thing we're going to do, what type of drape are we going to do? Come on, I know you guys know.
Chemical.
Right. Okay,
Right.
so we're gonna say, talk about, well, let me go past that.
Yeah, well, you just gotta, like,
Okay, so we're gonna say double drape.
double drape.
So what is a double drape entail of?
So, like, the 2 towels. Right?
Yes.
So S-A-N.
On the top and the bottom.
One on the top, one on the bottom, right?
2 towels. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be can you erase?
Yeah, you have to hit eraser right there.
Eraser. Okay, hold on, you guys. This is way too technical for me. Towels. 2 towels and a chemical drape. This is like, okay.
It's hard.
Okay, so number 3. Okay, now that we have them draped, what are we gonna do?
You said it before, Adam.
Examine the hair.
Exactly.
Scalp, hair, all of it.
I think it's weird because you see that little pen thing move and it like throws you off. Okay, after I do that, what am I gonna do? How many sections do you normally section the hair into?
4.
Perfect,
4.
perfect. Now, we never specified, are we doing darken or lighten? Retouch to lighten, okay. Okay,
We're gonna do both.
okay. So this is gonna be darkened? Should have better. Well, I'm just taking my
Doesn't matter,
color star,
retouch.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so 5.
Section the hair into 4 sections, then we are going to mix our product.
No.
Oh,
Sanitize your hands.
sanitize, perfect.
Mhm.
Sanitize our hands and then protective cream. Sanitize hands, protective cream. And then you're going to sanitize your hands again because you have
You touch the
you touch the client. So 7.
Another
Sanitize.
page you just-
Okay. Hands. And then number 8, you're going to
Put your gloves on.
mhm. It like skips. Put gloves on. And 9, then we're gonna mix our product.
Mhm.
Mix color. Okay, now how do I?
Save that. No, hit that little square thingy
Plus
there.
one?
Yeah, the little plus
This one?
deal. Yeah.
Okay.
So now after we next mix our product, if we are going to do our retouch to go darker, where do we start? What part of the head do we start on if we're going darker?
Talked about this a little bit yesterday.
In the front.
Absolutely.
Yes. So starting in the front, how thick do we take our subpartings or our subsections?
Like maybe like one quarter.
Yep.
Yes. So using 1/4 inch,
Then take 1/4.
1/4 inch subpartings or subsections.
Where am I going to apply my color to?
Or how are we going to apply it?
Is it a virgin retouch or is it which one? Is it darkening? Which one we're doing?
It's just a retouch.
Oh, okay. Then you want to start with the roots.
Right.
Right.
So we're going to apply it from the base to where?
To the mid length. The mid length.
Well, depends on
Right.
yeah, so to the line of demarcation or to the previously colored hair.
Okay, so yeah, to the line of demarcation.
From the base to
Now, you want to go like up to that line, but you don't really want to overlap it too much. Now, it's almost impossible just to stop right at that line. So you want to make sure that it's covered. So there are some times that you do, overlap it a little bit. But we want to make sure that we don't go, all the way down or like an inch past the line of demarcation, because what's going to happen is that hair that's already previously has color on it, it's going to get
darker.
So we don't want it to be darker. We want it to try to match it up, so we want to try to stop right at the line of demarcation.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we're going to continue through the front sections. Continue working through the front sections, then in the back.
Making sure that you do outline your sections.
Just put a little quote here. Make sure you outline sections. And don't forget that front hairline.
Temples and sideburns,
Mhm.
especially.
Front hairline. You don't want to have to go back and have to redo a whole hair color, or at least even like rinse it and then have to go back and apply color back to the front hairline and let that process for 30-40 minutes because you didn't have good application. Application is key to everything to make you to be efficient.
So make sure that you, after about 10 minutes, that you go back through and you check your application. Make sure that all of that hair is thoroughly saturated, because after about 10 minutes, it's going to start to oxidize. You're going to start to see that change. So make sure you go back and you check it about every 10 minutes until you have making sure that everything is covered. Okay.
Okay.
So now it's processing.
Process according to
Tony,
manufacturer.
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt. I have something going on with my family, so I gotta cut it out.
Okay.
All right.
How long were you on? Okay, so we'll give you half an hour, Nick.
All right.
Okay, most manufacturers are going to be 30 minutes, but usually for gray coverage, you can go 45 minutes. So double check.
Yeah.
Okay. What number was that? Can you go back?
Yeah, go right here.
That was number 13. Okay.
So 14.
So 14. So after I've let it process, before I rinse it, what is the thing that I'm going to do?
So now we want to refresh on the ends, right? Oh, wait.
Can you
wait,
go-
Color
Yeah.
development.
Can you go back one more time, please?
Yeah. Go back.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go?
If I do. You'll see it. What?
Ms. Jan or Ms. Connie, on our break or something, can we go back to steps 5 through 9? Because I missed those.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the links will be up too. Should be sending you links to get these Zoom recordings. So if you do miss something, you can always go back off of those links and pick stuff up.
Okay. Does everybody have steps 10 through 13?
Thank you.
Yeah, she said thank you. So she must have got it.
You got 10 through 13. Okay. So I'm going to go back one. And then there's 5 through 9 for you. Did you get them? Everybody got those?
Give me a
Yes.
second.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me know when you're done.
All right, got it.
Okay. Does everybody have these ones? 1 through 9? 10 through 13?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm going to start with 14 here. What was the last thing? I don't want to process according to manufacturer's directions. And then we're going to, 14, we're going to check for color development.
So this is where we're going to do our test strand. Where did the wheel sheet go?
It was right there. I don't know. Oh, behind you.
Motion? Yeah. Thanks. I thought you were using it. Are you using it? I am. Okay, I'll go back to it just a second.
So then once we have checked for color development and we have our color to where we want it to be, what are we going to do next? So remember, we're doing a retouch. So we are going to want to either break that line of demarcation and refresh the ends. So this is when we want to comb through.
There's several ways that we can refresh the ends. This one we're going to tell you about right now is to comb through, comb the color through for about the last 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much it's faded.
Yes.
Okay.
Comb through. The other way you could do it is you could use a semi-permanent hair color. same formula as you used with your permanent hair color, and you can add that from really
From
it's
the whole
the
thing.
whole head, because it can go over the permanent hair color, and you can run that through and put the semi-permanent color over the whole head.
Another way you can do it is take the leftover color that's in the bowl and add shampoo or conditioner through it. And when you get back to the shampoo bowl, you work it through the rest of the hair and then leave it for the other 5 to 10 minutes. So there's different ways you can refresh the ends. This way we're going to show you today is just to comb through and break that line of demarcation.
Okay.
Comb it through the ends by adding a little bit of color if you need to, but if you're going to be putting the color on the ends, make sure that you dilute it with either shampoo or conditioner.
I like conditioner
I
because
do
then
too.
it makes it feel like when you go to like rinse out the hair, it kind of like feels like it
feels
detangles it and
softer,
it softens
yeah.
it. So my preference is like a good, like, you know, like a moisturizer, reconstructor type thing. You could use shampoo though, perfectly, and just kind of eyeball it what's in your bowl and just do equal parts of what's the color that's in your bowl and the whatever
And the
shampoo or
conditioner.
conditioner.
And make sure if you're using conditioner that you know that conditioner is not going to coat the hair strand, because you want to check with the manufacturer and make sure that it's not going to put that coating on there so that the color can penetrate into the cortex area. Because there is that one brand, KMS, will not allow
like
color
the
to go
sealer,
through.
yeah.
Yeah. So make sure that you know your product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So after we've combed it through, we are going to probably let it process it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to do another test run. Make sure it looks even all the way through. If those ends still look a little bit lighter, just leave it on for a few more minutes.
Lighter or kind of like iridescent looking. Like
Yeah.
you can tell, like especially if you have gray hair, when you go to do a test strand and you wipe it off, if at all it looks like shiny or kind of like iridescent looking, you need more processing time, because it's not fully processed on that gray hair.
Yeah. And if it's too dark, then
Bleach wash it real quick
you
at the
better
show.
wash it fast.
Don't let your client see. Okay. So
Cut it
then,
off.
no. After you test strand it, then we're going to proceed to rinse it out. But remember, as we said yesterday, before we hit water to that hair color, what is the thing that we want to do? Anyone?
Get the hairline.
You put a little bit of shampoo on your fingertips and start running through the hairline.
Yeah,
Yes.
working it like in a circular motion, you know,
Okay,
with a couple of your fingers, with
Um,
a couple of your fingers just kind of going
work,
around the hairline with shampoo, just kind of breaking up that color.
So we're right, work hairline with shampoo to help.
I think you write much better than I do.
Ugh, I feel like I write chicken scratch. Work hairline with shampoo to help remove color off the skin. Okay. Okay, so once we've done that, then we can continue to shampoo the hair. I usually like to shampoo the hair twice.
Because it's weird. It looks like it's inside out. Yeah. I know, that's why I bought it.
Shampoo the hair twice, and to make sure that you get the nape area really, really well, because that's when they're leaning back into that shampoo bowl. Right here in the nape area is where you're not going to rinse very well, and you're going to get that shampoo. So double check that you get all of that shampoo and the color out of that nape area, because it's just how the shampoo bowls are positioned where the hair sits. And then once I shampoo twice, I can also condition. Okay. Then after I've shampooed and conditioned, the next thing that I am going to do is, what am I going to have to do with my I've shampooed, conditioned, I've wrapped my client's head in a towel. What am I gonna do with the shampoo bowl before
Clean the shampoo bowl, sanitize the chair, and sanitize the shampoo bottles.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
So then we're going to clean, bowl,
Chair,
bowl, chair,
bottles.
bottles,
And make sure there's no water on the floor.
mhm,
Clean out the trap and the sink
Yes.
also.
and remove hair from trap. Now I'm going to tell you guys, state board coming in, that is one thing that they're going to take a beeline for is your
Oh, yeah.
shampoo bowls. So you know, they'll come in and they flash a badge, like if they're police officers,
With a
and
clipboard.
with a clipboard, and they flash a badge real
And a
quick.
camera.
And a camera. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to beeline for those shampoo bowls. If they find literally one hair in your shampoo bowl, one little tiny hair, they are going to be taking a picture of it, and then they'll complete their inspection with whatever they're looking for. And when they go to leave their inspection, they will write you a fine or citation, and she has pictures to prove everything. So you can't argue with her, you know? So you'll be like, where's that one hair? You know what I mean? And she'll enlarge it and everything like that. So they will get you for one hair in those shampoo bowls. So we have cleaned the bowls, the chairs, the bottles, and we removed the hair from the trap
On the floor.
and anything from the floor. All right, floor. Okay, and then after that, we can proceed with other services.
Finish up.
Yeah, finish client. Okay.
Okay, go back to the beginning.
Okay, so I'm gonna run through the beginning real quick, if anybody needs it. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
So any questions on how to go darker? No. Okay,
Is
so
this a retouch to go darker or to go lighter?
this is darker. This one's going darker. Okay, so if we're going to go lighter, that's our next one. Remember that all of these first 9 procedures are exactly the same. Okay, any color that you're going to do, these first 9 procedures are going to be the same. When we get over to 10 now, this is where it's going to change. This is where it's going to change. So we're gonna start on our color to go lighter. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have erased all that. Continue. Okay, so this is where it's going to change. Notice there's not a lot that's changing. It's just where are you going to start if you're going lighter?
The back?
Yeah. So we're going to start in the back. And how thick are our subpartings going to be now that we're going lighter?
One eighth of an inch.
Yes. So now we're going to take 1/8 of an inch. Notice they're smaller than color. Okay. We're going to actually do the same thing from the base to the line of demarcation. Try not to overlap. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit trickier. Okay. With a tint to darken, this person can have, you know, 1 inch to 3 inches of outgrowth, and you're still just going to put it on the up to the line of demarcation. Now, if they do have 3 inches of outgrowth, you better charge more for the color that you're using.
Yeah, because that's more product you guys are using.
Right. So you better charge a little bit more than someone that has like an inch of regrowth. But if this person comes in to go lighter and they have an inch of regrowth, that's fine. You can just put it up to that inch. But anything more than an inch of regrowth when you're going lighter, you have to treat it like a virgin application. So if someone has 3 inches of an outgrowth for a lightening, you have to go that 1/2 inch off the scalp up to that line of demarcation and just put it on like 2.5 inches of hair, and then turn around and go back to the scalp. So you're going to be charging them like a virgin application because you're going to have to apply it like a virgin application. Even if they have, 4 inches of hair that still has color on it, you don't have to put anything on those 4 inches of hair or lightener. You still have to treat that like a virgin application. This is where it gets a little bit more trickier. The overlapping on this actually is a little bit more, what do you want to say? What's the word? A little bit more.
You have to be more cautious. Yeah.
Okay. Because if you do overlap, you run the chance of it breaking off where it overlaps at if it's weak, because it's lighter, right? The chemical, I mean, if you're using a bleach, it's way stronger than a hair color. So you do have to be really careful with that. And if you can get these retouches done up to that line of demarcation without overlapping, because now it's going to be too light, you're going to have a big, what do you call it, like a band around the head of different colors, like a lighter color or a darker color. So stripes do suck. We don't want to see stripes at all through people's heads. And this is where you have to be neat on your applications and make sure that those sections are only 1/8 of an inch. The neater the application, the better results you're going to get, because you're not going to have like this blob of color or this blob of hair that you're working with. So we do have to be really neat and control the hair. Don't let it get out of control, because then you're going to end up with a mess. So this is where we have to be really careful with that. So you're going to continue working through the sections, but which sections do we start in? Back. Look at my writing. Then we're going to work to the front. Again, the lighter colors seem to dry out faster than the darker colors, so we really have to make sure those sections are outlined, and we really have to make sure that we're getting thorough saturation and they don't dry, because the minute it dries, it's done. So we want to make sure that it stays nice and saturated so that it doesn't get dry.
And then just going back to just kind of like when Ms. Connie was saying that, somebody who has more than, 1 inch of new growth, I charge them for a full color. Like, it's not, because it's kind of like it's a whole color process. It's a whole application. So if you normally charge, let's say, $55 for a color retouch, and then you start getting a regular color, you charge, $75. I'm going to charge them that $75 because it's more product that I have to use.
And it's hard when they just have like 2 inches and you just got to work that inch.
Oh, that's when I like to use a bottle.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to do that. So
okay. Again, make sure that you outline your partings, you double check your application, you process it according to manufacturer's directions. Same thing here. You're going to you would test run for color development. Now combing through, if you're using lightener, you don't comb it through. So hit what?
Hit eraser.
Eraser.
Mm-hmm.
Scratches.
Would you process a high lift the same way you would bleach?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now hit draw. And you go the first one, first squiggly one. Okay, there you go.
Okay. So especially like a high lift, you're usually, a lot of those will have you do, it's double 40 volume developer with your high lift color. And sometimes I know a lot of manufacturers, they process those 50 minutes. So you have to make sure you read your manufacturer's directions when you're using a high lift tent. When you are doing a bleach application to lighten, that is one thing that you don't want to make sure that you comb through. You could kind of like to break that line of demarcation, you could use your finger and kind of, feather it into the
Or even a
other one,
brush.
or a brush, but you don't want to comb through. So we should probably say here, put finger or brush
Feather
to
through.
feather through. Yes.
Feather through the line of demarcation. Let's say that, feather through the line of demarcation.
Feather.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on the hair that you're trying to lighten too, and the texture of the hair that you're working with. I mean, if it's already seems like it's a little bit more compromised, or it's really fine hair, I would be really careful with that. If it's a thicker, coarser hair, it could probably take a little bit more, but we don't want to like comb that through because it is more
Like
more
when I
fragile.
do Connie's and I do her highlight retouch application, I apply my product and then I kind of move my brush to the side of the hair strand and I just slightly feather it with the side bristles of the hair into the previously lightened hair.
We'll
But
show
I
you
never,
how to do that in the demo.
yeah, but I never just overlap it
Yeah,
because otherwise she would be bald headed.
because my hair is very fine.
It's fine. You got a lot of it, but it's fine.
Yeah. So now we got to remove this part. We're going to process this until we get our desired color or till the manufacturer time is up. So, after we feather it through, we're just going to keep checking for development.
Draw, right?
Yeah.
Draw, squiggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Process according to manufacturer, right?
Right. Or till the desired color is achieved, depending on what you're using. Remember with the developers, after about like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour, let's say, the strength of the developer now is starting to oxidize out. So they're usually not as strong. So, if you're going past like an hour and a half, it may not seem to budge after a while. So Jen and I went to a color class one time and they had all of these little, this is the one where she tried to make my Max blonde.
Max
and I turned
blonde.
yellow. But she had all these little cups of blue. What was it like? What was in that blue cell? I don't know. They were blue little cups of some kind of liquid. And she had these tablets.
Effordent. They're Effordent tablets. It was just blue, colored blue water.
Okay. And so she dropped them in the colored blue water and it was representing a 10, 20, 30, 40 volume peroxide. So when she dropped them in.
We'll do it on Monday.
Okay.
Let's do it on Monday.
Let's
Don't
do
tell
it.
them. We're not
going
tell
to
them.
tell you. We'll show you.
We're not going to tell you. We're going to show you on Monday because it was pretty cool.
It was
like
was.
the light bulb went off.
It really made a lot of sense of how developers work. So we'll show you that on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
I was starting a battle.
Okay, so once we have the manufacturer's instructions and we have the desired color reached, then we're going to do a strand test just to make sure. Okay, so once we get that strand test going, we want to make sure that we have the desired color. And then we're going to be ready to rinse. So again, if the color seems like it's a little dry or the bleach seems like it's a little bit dry on there, we are going to work the hairline with the shampoo just to help remove it off the shampoo and to remove it off the skin. We're going to shampoo our hair twice, condition. You can use your pH normalizer too here if you want to before the conditioner. So let's see. O-R-N-A-L-I-Z-E-R. So the pH normalizer can go right in here if this is where you want to use one of those. And I would recommend it because when you're lightening hair, you're always using a higher developer strength. So we want to make sure that we try to bring that hair down because that developer will have blown our cuticle layer wide open. And we want to make sure that we sort of bring that down and close that cuticle layer so that we do get our hair in the best condition that we possibly can. So once we shampoo, condition, pH normalize, all that good stuff, towel dry the hair really well, we want to make sure that we clean, the bowl, the chair, the bottle. We want to remove the hair from the trap, and then we want to finish our client. Make sure that we do our client record card. That is really, really important. And again, try to determine, if they have an inch of outgrowth or 3 inches of outgrowth or how long it was since they were there before, because, we want to make sure that we have the correct amount of timing, pricing, product use. I mean, if you mix 3 ounces of product and then you had to put like, an ounce and a half of that in the trash, make sure that you note that to use less product next time. It's always easier to mix more than it is to throw it away. So we're gonna get ready to go on our break. Before we go on our break though, okay, so we're back. Can you hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do our draping. Again, the sanding strip goes first. Remember never to tie. We just tuck. If I can't even get this on straight. Okay, tuck it in. Don't tie it. Tuck it in. Oh my gosh. Why am I having such difficulties with this thing today? Okay. Now remember, I would lay this towel across their shoulders, but since I'm missing shoulders, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of tuck it around so that the drape will fit, and use a clip to hold it on. Drape goes on next.
Can't see you for some reason.
Where are you at? Can everyone else see? Yeah? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. I don't know what to tell you.
For some reason, all I see is my screen big on here. I don't see you at all.
Let's see, what does she have to do to fix that? How about,
She can leave the chat and then rejoin, and then it'll
Okay,
probably pop
now I
up.
can see you. Now I can see you.
okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
So now we're gonna take this towel and place it around here, which would again step on the shoulders, but we don't have shoulders, so I'm just gonna tightly put this on so it'll stay. So now I have my double drape. I just clipped up the hair in the back too, just because it was now if that happens, you pick it up, and it goes into your UV disinfectant container, and you'll sanitize your hands. I did sanitize my hands earlier when I was grabbing this stuff. So sanitize your hands, section your client. Remember when we're sectioning, we're laying the comb flat on the head, not like at this angle to scratch the scalp. We're laying it flat, using our finger, sectioning, lift it up, pull that apart, separate it, okay? So section, pull it apart. Section, pull it apart. And this is how we're gonna section. We're gonna do our 4 sections. So I'm gonna do darken first, and then I'm gonna do lighten. Remember, I put my finger right here on the ear, start at the top, same way, bringing my comb down the head, not scratching the head. So down the head, pull it apart. Sometimes sectioning is hard. To get my 4 sections here, clipping it up. Came from the days during sectioning when they didn't want any of the ends waving at us in the hair when we sectioned it. So you had to control those ends and get them nice and tight, and put in nice and neat in the clip. And then same thing down the back. That was loud. See the back here, but section, separate, right, section, separate, and then pretty soon you'll just be able to go down the whole head in one part and have it all nice and sectioned. Sectioning takes practice. All right, so check their head. I've got the protective cream on. We are now ready to go. Oh, no, I'm ready to put the protective cream on. So now let's sanitize my hands again. Make sure you get your wrists, hands, fingers, all in between. Put my protective cream on. Remember, don't touch the hairline because we don't want it to be on the hair because it'll protect the hair too. We won't get any color on there. So get it around the head. Tops of the ears, all over. Okay. So don't wipe it on the towel, get a paper towel, but I didn't want to. Oh, gloves. So I'm gonna put my gloves on.
Miss Connie, you forgot to sanitize your hands before you put your gloves on.
Good paying attention. Good calling me out on that. You're right, I did forget to sanitize my hands because I forgot my gloves too. I had to go get them, so you're right. Got the products. Getting ready to start. So since I'm going darker, I'm gonna start here in the front. Again, you can start at the bottom of the section or the top of the section. I like to start at the top. The reason I don't like to start at the bottom is because I have to clip and put the hair up and take it down and clip it and put it up, and I think it just takes more time. So I like to start at the top. So I'm gonna take my 1/4 inch section, and we're gonna say that she has about an inch outgrowth. So I'm just gonna get my product on here. And if you get too much on the brush, wipe it off on the side of the bowl because sometimes it gets really like too much. And when you're just doing an outgrowth, you want to try to keep it as minimal as possible. But I'm just going to apply it at that 1 inch, making sure I'm covered, and lay it over. Pick up my next 1/4 inch. One inch at the scalp. Now, usually with a touch-up, you can do both sides or you could just do one side. I usually do one side, and then when I pull it back down, that's when I check the other side. You can do them both at the same time. You can go 1 inch here, bring it down, bring 1 inch over here, you know, and make sure, but you don't want to take a lot of time. So I usually just go on one side, that's a little more than an inch, right? 1 inch. And sometimes you have enough on your brush, just like I have right now, to where I didn't have to go back and dip my brush in color yet. When it gets to where it's not covering, then I'll go back and dip my brush in color. Making sure that we're not smashing it on the piece prior to it, kind of holding it out, and then just kind of laying it up. I lost you guys for a second. Okay. Can you hear me? Because my screen went blank. It just came back on. Yeah, we're on. Okay. So now that I've finished with my application, as I pull this down, this is where I'm gonna check this side. Making sure that I'm all covered for my 1 inch. And it is hard to stay consistent with just 1 inch, but try as much as you can to keep that consistency on each little strand of hair. You'll see the line of demarcation. When I get done with the section, I want to go around and outline it. Pay real close attention to the temples and the sideburn. Right here, right on top of the ears, like one of the hardest parts to keep covered. For some reason, hair right here is super stubborn.
My sideburns never seem to like hold color. Is there like anything I can do?
There is. You can do what's known as like a pre-softening if it's really, really stubborn, because right along this hairline is where it's the most stubborn for gray. So before you even start doing color, if you take a little bit of like 20 volume developer, or no, I would say 10, use 10 volume developer, dip your brush in it, and just come right along the gray sections. Come down, pull this apart, right? Come along over here in the gray section, bring this down, pull it apart, come over here on the gray sections, you know, and do vertical partings on just the gray, and then just leave it. You don't have to rinse it off or anything. Just mix your color back up just like you would normally, and then come back through and just lift that up and put it right on the hair. It's called pre-softening. Another thing you can do is take your color straight out of the bottle, and I would go a shade lighter than what you use. And just take it straight out of the bottle or straight out of the tube, put it on your brush, and just brush it on the stubborn areas and leave it. It's a pre-skating type of thing, just like sticking the hair. And then mix your color developer and put it right over the top of that. That actually makes the color just a little bit darker than what it is if you do it that way. So just make sure that you're really aware of your color that you're using. But the developer is really easy. Just brush it on and put color right over the top of it, and that helps with that really stubborn hair. So after this processes, we're in our last like 10 to 15 minutes, we're gonna get our big white tooth comb, and we're gonna start.
You're constantly breaking up, Miss Connie.
What?
You're constantly breaking up.
Okay, I'll get a little bit closer. So when we get ready to finish, we're gonna get to where we get to our like last 10 minutes here. We're gonna take our big white tooth comb, and we're gonna come through, start at the bottom, and we're gonna come through this line of demarcation. Drop down the next section, comb through it.
So do you do that like when you're done with the whole head or when you're done with that section?
No, you wait till you have about the last 10 minutes of processing time, and then that's when you do it.
Oh, okay.
So now we're done, we've combed it through. We still have, this is still kind of faded, right? So what you're gonna do is whatever amount, well, I'll show you whichever amount of color you have in your bowl, you're gonna put the same amount of pump shampoo in it. And this is shampoo that you got. Then you're gonna take it in your hands because it has shampoo on it. And we're gonna be laying back in the shampoo bowl, and you're just gonna work it up with your shampoo, and bring it in and just shampoo it through the hair. Bring it in, just like you would shampoo. Work all that in their hair. You need a little bit more. You just get more. And work it all through the whole head. What that's gonna do is just refreshen the faded color. So now you have about 5 to 10 minutes with this shampoo cap on. It's called shampoo cap. You have the shampoo cap on, and then you can go ahead and rinse it, work it on the hairline, right? Loose off the hairline, work it all in, and then you can just go ahead and rinse it in shampoo and finish it and proceed as you would. Now, any questions on the darker? When you get to the lighter, we're just going to be on the side. Right. Okay. Right. If your drink falls on the client, which happens, especially if you don't have it secure enough and the client moves around, it could fall off. Just put it back on. Anytime the towels get wet, change it. All right, so now we're going to go to the lighter. Again, we're going to do the same thing. Now, sometimes with lighters, you're taking the horizontal partings. If you take the diagonal, we're going to work from the top here on our touch, but I'm working on the diagonal. Just got to keep it out of the face a little bit better, I think. Okay, so when we get down, we're gonna bring this down. This is where we're going to feather through. So we're going to make sure that it's covered on this side. Then we're going to turn our brush at an angle, and we're just going to feather this line through without any demarcation. Turn the feather, turn the brush, and feather through the line of demarcation. I like to use the brush with the bottom up like this, because I feel like I'm not going to touch the rest of the hair. You can't put the brush this way and use it. Either way, I just like it this way because I feel like I'm not going to get it all over everything else. And now we're going to bring it through the line. We're not going to refresh the light because the ends are already faded out by our anyway. So just want to make sure that we get a nice even color so we don't get those stains. When you're feathering it too, you want to make sure that you don't too much hair color on the ends of the brush. Because if you do, you're going to get a thick line across the head. So you just kind of want to use your finger. You use your finger. Feather out also. So if you put your finger up here, if you have a big blob of color on there, bring your finger through it, just kind of lightly, you know, feather your finger through that. And then you want to go through and outline your section. Some people outline their section first. I don't like to do that because I always feel like I'm running my brush through the color and it's getting on all the hair I don't want it on. So I just sort of bring it through. When this is finished and you go back through your application, make sure you have it all thoroughly saturated. And when this is done processing, we're gonna take that off and shampoo it. But in order to do a test run, you don't want to just grab a piece of hair, place, not too big, you don't need a lot of hair. It's about like that on your top. Put your hand underneath here or towel, or kind of towel. Usually hold it, my thumb, I'll hold it on your fingers back underneath there. Spray with your water bottle. Wipe off. Right. And then check for color development. If it hasn't fully developed, add the product back on it and let it continue to process. You take pictures of it doesn't matter what color you're using. That's the color. That's it. No matter what kind of color application that you're doing, that is the test procedure for any color. So questions on that? No questions? All right, I'm gonna go back into the other room real quick. I'll show you guys, but obviously it's bad. So let me run back into another room.
Miss Connie, you're breaking up bad.
I know. That's why I'm going back to the other room.
Oh, okay.
Breaking up in there really bad. So we're going to the other room.
Probably the ghost.
Already did it. So is this better? Can you hear now? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to show them okay, give me a second. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and show you this recording here on or video on a.
Can everybody see the screen?
Touch up.
No, you can't see the screen? Now you can see it? Okay. A retouch application is a fundamental hair color service that usually performed every 3 to 6 weeks. Refreshing the length with demi-permanent color maintains the health of the hair. Demi-permanent colors not only add tone and optimum shine, but have greater transparency that allows more dimension if the client has previously lightened strands. The client in this exercise has short graduated lengths and faded color with a 4-week regrowth. Assess the hair to determine the amount of regrowth and identify the existing color and desired color before mixing product. An overall rich color is achieved using level 4 red-brown permanent color with 10 volume developer throughout the base. A demi-permanent color of the same shade is applied through the lengths. 1/4 inch horizontal partings in the back quadrants and 1/4 inch diagonal back partings in the front quadrants are used to apply the retouch color. A ball and brush application is used for the retouch, and a bottle application is used to refresh the lengths. Section the head into 4 sections from the center front hairline to the center back and from the apex to each ear. Protect your hands with gloves and apply barrier cream around the hairline and to the tops of the ears to prevent staining. Mix the product for the retouch application according to manufacturer's directions until you reach a smooth consistency. Begin in the back left section. Apply product to the regrowth area to outline the section. Next, take a 1/4 inch horizontal parting at the top. Apply the color to the regrowth only, to the top and bottom of the parting. Place the hair upward. Work toward the bottom of the section using consistent 1/4 inch horizontal partings and applying to the regrowth. Near the crest, start to subdivide partings for control. Avoid overlapping product onto the previously colored hair.
For shorter lengths, apply to the bottom of the strand only while maintaining fine partings. This is also preferred when colouring around the hairline to help prevent staining along the skin. Bring each parting down to allow oxidation and ensure the colour develops evenly. Repeat the same application technique on the opposite back section. Move to the front side quadrant and outline the section. Begin at the top of the section near the crown and take 1/4 inch diagonal back partings. Work toward the bottom and the hairline. Subdivide wider partings for control and apply only to the bottom of the partings at the hairline to avoid staining. Bring the section down to promote oxidation. Repeat the same application technique on the opposite side. Then carefully outline the entire hairline to ensure even coverage. Next, mix the demi-permanent hair color of a matching shade in an applicator bottle. Return to the back left section in brown. Use the tip of the bottle to take a 1/2 inch horizontal parting without disturbing the retouch application. Apply color to the mid-lengths and ends. Use your fingers to work product through the hair and ensure even coverage. Work to the bottom of the section. Then bring the hair back down. Repeat on the opposite back section. Apply the demi-permanent refresh color to the side sections. Begin the top of the section with 1/2 inch diagonal back partings. Continue to apply away from the base to the ends. Direct the lengths back and away from the face. Work from the top of the section to the bottom, using your thumb and fingers to work the product through the hair for even coverage. Bring the hair back and away from the face for oxidation. Check the hairline and ears and clean any stains. Process according to manufacturer's instructions and perform a strand test to check color development. Finish processing, then rinse the color from the hair, shampoo and condition. The finish shows a rich color. The refresh color has added additional shine, brightness and vibrancy to the existing highlights, creating a soft, multi-dimensional look.
How do I? Okay, so does anybody, your speaker's not working, please connect. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, because it says my speaker is not working. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about the retouch application? No, not one question? Okay, Miss Claudia, grabbing the roll sheet real quick. It's right here. Right on your face, with a snake would have bit you. Okay, so this is Galaxy One. So, okay, so Alejandro. Okay. Alex. Self.
Yes.
Alize.
Yes.
Cecilia. Gina. Should be the back page too.
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Haley.
Yeah.
Jasmine. Jasmine in.
I'm here.
Yeah, we're making sure you're marked on, hun. Because there's two Jasmines.
Yes.
And then we have Jasmine A. We would have to add her on. Regular. And then we have Jordan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Karen.
Yes.
Key.
Yes.
And then we have 2 iPhones and a Galaxy 10 that I don't know who they are.
Okay, so I think they're your guys over here. Jay, Josh.
Jay. I don't. Jay. Who's Jay?
Or Jay.
I have Josh. Is it Josh? Are you on here?
You didn't call me Lydia. I've been here the whole time.
We got Lydia. Okay, so that's one iPhone. Any other iPhone? Who is the other iPhone? Oh, and the Galaxy 10. Who's that? I can't.
That's Junior.
Junior. Okay, Junior. We got Junior. Huh?
I think so.
Hold on. There's Junior. And then there was one more iPhone besides Lydia. Oh, it's Galaxy A10e. Who is that?
That's me, Ms. Jen. Nate Garcia.
Okay, perfect. And then there's one more iPhone up here. Looks like a bottom of a shoe is showing.
I believe that's Josh.
Is that Josh?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then you got me, right, Adam?
Yes, Adam. Yeah, Lucky Heart, Adam, and Josh. Okay.
2 pages, by the way.
How do I go to the next one?
There's 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Just the one that called her out of here.